But here's the key. What we're all asking ourselves, and it's a question that's up for everyone, is do we love ourselves enough? What I have to ask myself every day, do I love myself enough to give my body what it needs to be at its best, to do what it knows how to do so very well? And the answer to that is reflected in the choices that I make, that we all make every day in our lives. You know, a lot of it's common sense. It's about nutrition. Are we just trying to fill the space in our stomachs so that we're not hungry, or are we actually honoring our bodies and giving our bodies the life-affirming food that will allow us to embrace this deep potential that we have for healing and for the immune response? Do we love ourselves enough to move our bodies to heal the stress that is depleting so many of us right now? So it comes down to that question, and the answer is what this program is all about. How do we express that love to our bodies? And the new discoveries, the new science, I just have to tell you, I'm so excited about this. The new science is telling us that the average human has about 50 trillion cells in their bodies, whatever average is. I guess I'm an average human, so I have about 50 trillion cells in my body. Here's the thing, each of those cells has an electrical voltage, a potential of about 0.07 volts. And you say, well, that doesn't sound like very much. Well, it's not per cell, but when you multiply that times 50 trillion, you're talking about 350 trillion volts of electrical potential. What happens if we can hone that potential and direct it to healing in our bodies, or to achieving deep states of intuition that help us answer the questions that cannot be answered through the sources that we traditionally request our answers from? What does that mean? Well, this is where we are right now. So what we're finding is every cell in our body, it functions as an electrical transistor, just like we have in our computers and our mobile phones, as a capacitor, as a resistor. Every cell in our body stores information, it retrieves information. Every cell in our body emits photons of light. We receive photons of light. Every cell in our body functions as a tiny circuit, what's called a gated circuit in our bodies. And the point of all of this is that we regulate all of that inner technology in ways that we're only beginning to understand through thoughts, feelings, emotions, beliefs, and what are called epigenetic factors. This is the way that science now is talking about this. Epigenetic factors are factors of our environment. And when we talk about environment, people usually think of the world out there, and then that world is important. It's nutrition and water and food. But our inner environment, this is the environment of our emotions, of the stress in our bodies, of our thoughts, feelings, emotions, and beliefs. When we begin to put all this together, what we discover is that we are the technology. We are a highly sophisticated, technologically advanced technology. And the beauty is we don't have to know any of the science. We don't have to know any of the technology to embrace the deep truth of this power in our lives. But I believe this is what's up for us all right now. The world is changing. And the stress of that changing world is showing up as stress in all of our lives. And people are telling me they're not sleeping, they are depressed, they're having trouble getting out of bed, they're irritable, they're having problems in relationships at job, relationships with the people they share their lives with. And I want everyone to know this is exactly what we would expect for the conditions that we find ourselves in now. It's unnatural for us to be locked down. It's unnatural for us not to hug one another. It's unnatural not for us not to be able to express our creativity and our imagination and our creations in the way that we have been accustomed to doing. Here's the deal. We have the ability to self-regulate how we respond to this stress. And that's what this program is all about. I'm going to show the new discoveries and the techniques. We will learn the techniques. So it's more than an information-based program. We will learn the techniques to help us to awaken these deep states of intuition, to self-regulate the chemistry in our bodies, to stack the deck in our favor when it comes not just to surviving, but to thriving and transcending what it is that the universe has just brought to our doorstep. And when we do this, I'm going to use a term that has surprised some people. What we're really talking about is body sovereignty. We are conditioned to hang our sense of well-being upon the external world. When the world around us is calm and safe, then we are conditioned to feel calm and safe in our bodies. We're living a time of extremes where unsustainable ways of thinking and living are breaking down. That means chaos in the world out there. And if we are conditioned to pin our sense of well-being on that external world, and that world is in chaos, we know where that's going to lead. So what we're really talking about is the highest level of self-mastery. And this is the beautiful place where science, spirituality, and the wisdom of our ancestors come together in a really beautiful way. Ancient and indigenous traditions, they didn't know the science, but they understood our bodies. And they understood our relationship to ourselves, one another, the earth, the cosmos, God, a higher power. And they gave us the techniques that science is only beginning to understand. And many of those techniques parallel what we now find to be true in the laboratory.